They say that life is a game of chess, but some would argue that it's actually much more like poker. Every decision you make has hidden information, potential bluffs, and the need to read your opponent. And if you can master the art of deception, then you will have truly mastered the game. But what is deception and how can you become a master of it? Well, today we're going to be answering this very question as we look at 3 lessons on deception from Machiavelli. Welcome to the channel. Now, when most people think of Machiavelli, they think of his most famous work, The Prince, where he details how to acquire and maintain power, stating that it's better to be feared than loved. But while this is good advice for getting ahead, it doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, there's an often overlooked book of his called The Discourses on Livy, where he analyzes Rome's rise to power and offers a more nuanced view of how to lead. So today we'll be looking at this often forgotten work to uncover the hidden secrets of deception. Lesson 1. Master the balance. Machiavelli said, "It's safer to be feared than loved if you can't be both." Think of a ruler who seems sweet like honey, but that nice facade hides a sting. Power can be seen as either a lion or a fox, right? To be a lion means to be powerful, aggressive, and dominant. However, without the cunningness of a fox, this strength can easily be used against you, like when a lion can be beaten by a group of dogs. On the other hand, a fox is clever and cunning, capable of outsmarting its opponents. But without the strength of a lion, it can be easily captured and killed. Thus, to master the art of deception, you must learn to master the balance between these two extremes, being both a lion and a fox. That way, you can use your power to dominate when needed, yet also rely on your cunning to navigate tricky situations. In ancient China, there was this brilliant guy named Sun Tzu. During the Warring States period, his military strategies were unbeatable. Instead of facing his enemies head-on, he outsmarted them, striking when they least expected it and slipping away before they could regroup. Even against tough odds, Sun Tzu stayed calm, knowing his wits and quick thinking could outmaneuver any army. His tactics were legendary, such as when he pretended to be retreating only to turn around and attack his enemy's flank, or when he sent a small group of elite soldiers ahead of his army to scout the enemy's defenses, then used that knowledge to plan his attack. His cunning was so legendary that even his enemies admired him. After a brilliant victory, they sent him a letter asking him to surrender, but he shot back with a poem, "I'm like a rolling stone, a flowing river that can't be stopped." With his cleverness and knack for deception, Sun Tzu conquered all his foes and united China under one banner, securing his spot as one of the greatest military minds ever. Lesson 2. Adaptability is key. Now, while having the strength of a lion and the cunning of a fox is important, it's not enough. If you're serious about mastering the art of deception, you need to add another quality to the mix, adaptability. Because the thing about deception is that it's not a static practice, but rather a dynamic one. You can't just rely on the same old tricks because your opponents will catch on and you'll lose your advantage. Instead, you need to be able to adapt your approach based on the situation and the people you're dealing with. This is something that the great Roman general Julius Caesar understood well. Throughout his military campaigns, Caesar was known for his adaptability and his ability to read his opponents. He would study their tactics and try to predict their moves, then adjust his own strategy accordingly. For example, in his war against the Gauls, Caesar found himself facing a powerful enemy in Vercingetorix, who had united many of the Gallic tribes against him. Vercingetorix was a brilliant military strategist and had already defeated several Roman legions, but Caesar refused to fight him head-on. Instead, he studied Vercingetorix's tactics and movements, trying to anticipate his next move. Finally, he decided to lay a trap for the Gallic leader, luring him into a decisive battle at the Alesia. There, Caesar's superior numbers and artillery proved too much for the Gauls, and Vercingetorix was forced to surrender. Through his ability to adapt and deceive his opponent, Caesar was able to achieve a decisive victory and conquer Gaul, demonstrating that adaptability is key to mastering the art of deception. Lesson number 3: anticipate change. So far, we've learned that to master the art of deception, we need to balance our strength and cunning, as well as be adaptable in our approach. But there's one more important lesson we need to consider: anticipating change. You see, the world is constantly changing and evolving, and those who are able to anticipate these changes have a huge advantage over those who don't. For example, if you know that a storm is coming, you can take steps to protect yourself, like boarding up your windows and bringing your plants inside. But if you ignore the signs and don't prepare, you could be caught off guard and suffer the consequences. The same is true in the realm of deception. If you want to be a master of deception, you need to be able to anticipate changes in your environment and in your opponents. This means paying attention to all the little details, like changes in their behavior, body language, or even the tone of their voice. It also means keeping an eye on the bigger picture, like the overall political climate or the economy, because let's face it, nothing stays the same forever. Trends change, technologies evolve, and people's opinions shift. And those who fail to adapt to these changes are left behind. But those who embrace change and learn to anticipate it, they thrive. Take, for example, the fashion industry. It's a world where change is constant, and those who can predict the next big trend can make a fortune. Coco Chanel was a master of this. She was able to anticipate the changing tastes of the women around her, and created designs that were not only fashionable, but also functional and timeless. When World War I broke out, women began to reject the restrictive clothing of the past and embrace a more comfortable, practical style. Chanel noticed this shift and capitalized on it, creating the little black dress, which was simple, versatile, and could be dressed up or down. This single design was a massive success and became a staple of women's fashion. Chanel didn't just stop there, though. She continued to anticipate changes in the fashion world, incorporating new fabrics, styles, and designs into her collections. She was one of the first designers to use jersey material in haute couture garments, and she introduced the world to the iconic Chanel suit. Through her ability to anticipate change, Coco Chanel became one of the most successful and influential fashion designers of all time. And that's it for today's lesson. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the art of deception as laid out by Niccolò Machiavelli. Remember, to be a master of deception, you need to balance the strength of a lion with the cunning of a fox. Stay adaptable in the face of change and always be ready to anticipate your opponent's next move. And with that said, we thank you all for watching, and until next time, remember to be the fox.